Welcome to the Purely Prabhupada YouTube channel. This video series is called Reality Distinguished from Illusion for the Welfare of All. My name is Kamra, Devi, Dasi, and I'm a disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And this is the third video of the series, and it's called What Did Shakespeare Miss? So Srila Prabhupada had told us that any educated man knew some Shakespeare. I was also raised studying Shakespeare in school, and my parents had a full set of Shakespeare's works. They had actually built a separate shelving unit that was built into the door of our storage closet to house all those books. So there were some things that could never be forgotten. Like from the play Macbeth, out damn spot, spoken by Lady Macbeth in her nightmare scene, Hamlet's to be or not to be speech, or also from Hamlet, to thine own self be true, which is often quoted without reference to the full verse. And the full verse is, this above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow, as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. But what I recall most clearly was the monologue from As You Like It, beginning All the World's a Stage, and this monologue is also known as the 7 Ages of Man. So I'm going to read that monologue now. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail, unwilling to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly with good cap and lined, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide, for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again toward childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. So Shakespeare had great insights into the nature of man and into the nature of the world, but he could not consider what was the experience of the soul before birth and what then transpired after death, or even that the soul itself was eternal even though the body was temporary. As he also wrote in As You Like It, a man can die but once. Even this great literary genius, with his intricate understanding of human nature and the suffering of this world, could not address the subject matter of the many births that one takes, chasing his passions through millions of species of life, not just the tribulations and experiences in the human form. So when we look at the great literary masterpiece Bhagavad Gita, we have Bhagavad Gita as it is, and it's translated purely from the original Sanskrit by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. and this includes purports that are taken from the commentaries of previous self-realized spiritual teachers. In this volume, we find transcendentally poetic insights and instructions that clarify our placement in this body and in this world and direct us to the purpose of life. So Bhagavad Gita is a part of the great historical narrative called Mahabharata, or the history of Greater India. Bhagavad Gita itself is a chapter from that history, and it's the most important chapter of that entire epic work. Bhagavad Gita means Song of God, and it's the instructions of Lord Sri Krishna to his dear friend Arjuna as they sit on a chariot between the two great armies that are getting ready to fight this most significant battle of Kurukshetra. So Krishna's friend Arjuna has become very bewildered about this upcoming war and about his own duties as a natural warrior. He's become weak-hearted, and the Lord offers straightforward and strong spiritual counsel in his own poetic words. So what I've done here, this is from chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. I've taken verses 11 through 25, and I've just put them together as Krishna's own poem, in his own poetic words, as he's addressing Arjuna in his own bewilderment. So in this section, we'll see that Arjuna is addressed by his name Arjuna. He's addressed as the son of Kunti. He's addressed as the scion or offspring of Bharat, which is notation of his paternal lineage. So the Lord is addressing Arjuna, but he may call him in different ways through this narrative. So here is Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, text 11 through 25. The Blessed Lord said, "While speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be." As the embodied soul continually passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharat, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent there is no endurance, and of the existent there is no cessation. This seers have concluded by studying the nature of both. No, that which pervades the entire body is indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. Only the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is subject to destruction. Therefore fight, O descendant of Bharat. He who thinks that the living entity is the slayer, or that he is slain, does not understand. One who is in knowledge knows that the self slays not nor is slain. For the soul there is never birth or death. Nor having once been, does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever-existing, undying, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, unborn, eternal, and immutable, kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones. Similarly, the soul accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor can he be burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, all-pervading, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, immutable, and unchangeable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. So that concludes those verses. So without spiritual wisdom, no one can have a complete picture of this world, let alone the entire creation. Without spiritual wisdom, one is limited in his understanding and in his perception. With spiritual wisdom handed down from the Lord himself through a pure lineage of spiritual teachers, one can become free not only of the tribulations encountered in the human form, but from the sufferings over many millennia in the cycle of birth and death through many species of life. As only the human being can read and study the great literary artists, only the human being can inquire about higher truths and become set free from repeated births and deaths in the material world. No animal can read and study Shakespeare, and in the same way, no animal can read, study, and understand the greatest of literary gifts, those that present us with the unadulterated science of the soul in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this human form of life is therefore a blessing that is not meant to be wasted to lesser pursuits than the reawakening of our real spiritual nature in relation to God. And then in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 51, we read, "The wise, engaged in devotional service, take refuge in the Lord and free themselves from the cycle of birth and death by renouncing the fruits of action in the material world. In this way, they can attain that state beyond all miseries." So thank you very much for listening, and for more information and to purchase the books of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, we invite you to visit purelyprabhupada.com.
If you are interested in the subject matter of this video and would like to learn more, please visit purelyprabhupada.com. Ancient truths for the upliftment of the modern world.